How are you going to start, Mikey? What are you going to say?
Well, what I'm going to say is, and we're back at it again with another live one for all you Biconic wrestling nerds out there. And welcome to another episode of, well, we changed the name again when me and Will did NXT No Mercy. But welcome to the Ringmasters of Review, your PLE and pay-per-view review series.
Wow.
I'm actually in charge this time because I was just the voice of God for Wrestle Dream, but I am in charge for this one as one of the people that reviews WWE. But welcome to the WWE Fastlane 2023 PLE review. Well, like I said, my name is Mikey, and joining me for this review are two of some of my favorite peoples on the planet. We have the Professor, who we also call him John sometimes, but you know, it just depends on, it's okay.
The context matter.
And then coming back, literally like at the time of this recording, hours later, because he was also my co-host for SmackDown as well. Go check out that review, by the way. Luis, welcome back. It's been only a couple hours, but I'm happy to have you back anyways.
Luis pulling the old school double days. Thank you, Luis, for doing that.
Oh, yeah, I'm good with that, man. Do some double duty here. We're good to
go. There you go.
But as I mentioned, we are here to review literally, and this is a first for the Biconics boys. We are literally reviewing a pay-per-view like immediately after it has ended.
It's fresh in the brain. It just happened. Thank you, Luis, for staying up.
Oh, yeah. I'm an overnight guy anyway, so I'm going to be up till like 4.
Oh, man. Even on your days off, you stay up till 4?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, my brother's here, so he's down there. He's just messing around. He's probably watching the scrum, whatever WWE calls it. Yeah,
I know, the press conference where I'm like, is this really a press conference? I'm not sure what this is.
Yeah, the moment they announced that press conference, I expected a different ending from this pay-per-view. But.
Sure, exactly.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know and I don't want to rag on the press conference, but sometimes it feels like an SNL sketch. It doesn't feel quite real, and you're not sure if they're making jokes or if they're being themselves or if it's a work or what. So there's these weird moments of like, what's happening? Yeah, but So let's talk about this thing.
Yeah, let's go.
So before we jump into it match by match, I will say that, and I was talking to a friend because I went over to his house and we watched it together. He made a good point to me because we were talking about it after, you know, the main event went off the air and they were playing the recap video. And I have to be honest, if I was going to, and it's not fair because each pay-per-view is different, but you know, with the 2 filler pay-per-views, as people are calling it, I prefer to Payback over Fastlane.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And on paper, and it was weird because at Payback, on paper, I wasn't as excited for maybe like 1 or 2 matches, but pretty much all of them delivered and went beyond my expectations. Whereas with Fastlane, on paper, I was expecting a lot more and I was really excited. And for the most part, I was, but there were a lot of moments. The last 2 matches, and this is going to give me some heat, but the last 2 matches kind of killed the momentum for me. I was like, they went on way too long. They both went on way too long. Yeah, the
last match was 28 minutes long.
Oh my gosh.
Really? And Luis could probably speak to this too. A lot of these matches started in a really measured way. Like it took them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to get into the match.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't want to chalk it up to anything because I know they're professionals, but it definitely had that Vince McMahon feel. Like if things were changed or they were told or they were paranoid or whatever. And I don't want to say they were in their head, but there was definitely a sense of like, we're going to feel ourselves out even longer than normal type of thing.
Yeah, I want to. Mikey talks about this all the time. Like he talks about like the structure and how like cards are put together. And I think WWE has a problem right now. They really do, because this is probably the 5th pay-per-view in a row where the opening match has stolen the whole card and everything else has to follow that.
Yeah,
and I think we're at a point now where if you're gonna put Cody or even Jay, let's just say Jay. If you're gonna put Jay in a match, you're gonna expect greatness, and it's like, listen, like you can't have that guy open a show. I'm sorry, you just can't. He's just too good. He's the better Uso. You know, he got all the good stuff in the womb, and then the other guy, I don't know what he was doing in his match.
We'll talk about Jimmy, because like Jimmy was just being that like teenage brother that whole match. I'm like, Solo Sikoa is caring for you guys right now, like literally.
And that's a question I have, and I wrote that down: is are they trying to make Jimmy weak? Are they trying to show him that as a choice? Or has Jimmy kind of always been been that brother. And now that he's kind of isolated in a way, we're seeing it out of context.
It's
and it's
exposing him a little bit.
Because I never thought that he was mediocre or bad. So I don't want to make it sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
But out of the tag team, out of doing what they do best,
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of wondering what, I mean, the character and the storyline and what he's doing is hilarious and fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the ring work is suffering in a way. And I don't know if I don't know how to speak to that. I'm not sure.
I can't even call him Marty Jannetty because Marty was really good. And this
Marty
guy
was still really good.
Yeah, and this guy is like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I can't believe, like, let's give applause to Jay, because seriously, Jay, the fact that you covered up all this stuff for so many years is insane.
And I think this is something that you brought up once, Luis, when you have the go home show.
Yeah.
And at the end of the go home show, you're throwing it to a match for the pay-per-view or PLE or whatever. And then you start with that match or that storyline at the next thing. You've just sort of doubled down on that thing. And if it works, the bar is too high. You're done. So to end SmackDown on this, us versus the world Judgment Day thing with Cody and Jay and everything, the way it went, now it's like, oh, you start the PLE with that, and it's amazing. Where you're gonna go?
I'm assuming JD McDonough and Finn Balor will win back the titles.
Damn.
No.
That's kind of what I'm assuming.
Yeah, so, well, you know what? Let's just jump into that. But I do want to say one thing before we jump into the first match. If anybody was watching the pre-show, because they also plastered it all over the social media, I wanted a little more, but we got the official on-screen appearance from one Miss Jade Cargill.
Listen.
Yeah.
She had all of that beautiful Aurora, all of that beautiful Storm. You could tell that's the character she's going with. I am excited. I'm a big X-Men fan. Still waiting for somebody to play Gambit on screen somewhere. But listen, I'm very. What I was watching with her, she just looks like prime time, man. She looks like $1,000,000. I don't know who's going to be able to keep up with her. I just really don't. I'm so excited.
I love, and the internet's going crazy. Like I said, I checked the rabbit hole for some talking points, and of course, she's one of them. There's a lot of folks who are kind of upset that her debut was her coming in the parking garage and then leaving.
What do you want her to do?
I know. It's sort of like, that was enough tease for me. Like, hey, you're here. Triple H shook your hand. You look great. Oh, and I'll see you someday. Okay, thanks, bye. Like, I was fine with that. I had no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, what do they want? What does the fickle fan base want? For her to come out and just jump into the triple threat match, win the world title, so that way they can complain that she did that too early? Come on now.
Interfere and mess with Bailey and then get in the middle of the match, or do the Dragon Lee thing and sit ringside, or say, look at me, I bought a ticket, all the other crap that they do all the time. Come on.
Yeah, I don't. If she wrestles Bailey, I'm going to need to kick my wife out of the house for a little bit.
That's a holiday now.
Yeah, that's
shut it down.
Yep.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I mean, I was
that's
so
too
cut
much
off
for me
guard.
right there.
That's game over.
I was so cut off guard. I don't know what to do. But I'm excited for Jade to be here, and I'm not saying she wasn't happy where she was previously, but you could tell she's excited for this next chapter.
Sure.
And, with her working there and all that stuff eventually, and again, I like to fantasy book in my head, whatever we want to decide, and I don't care what nobody says in the IWC, the internet wrestling community, can bite me on this one. But Jade versus Bianca is one of my big time dream matches I would love to see between those two.
Sure.
Only because I want more representation as far as just big marquee matches, especially.
Absolutely.
I want another moment like I felt with Sasha and Bianca, because that match sticks with me. It wasn't the most technically best match, but because of how, like, the important message behind it, the fact that these women were main eventing night one of WrestleMania 37, and the fact that they made history by being the first two African-American women to main event a WrestleMania like that. Those are the things that are important to me. And
are overdue. Like, it's 2023. That stuff needs to be happening all the time. I agree.
Exactly. I'm excited for Jade.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Jade. So Fastlane coming from Indianapolis for this one. Of
Yeah.
course, the Indy 500, 400, whatever number. I'm a California kid. Like, I don't pay attention to car racing like that.
I mean, we ride cars out here. We just don't talk about it. We just
It's
don't tell you where the races are. I'm sure that's similar to Jersey. We just
the
don't
only cars that matter to me are the hoopties and the low riders because it's West Coast, baby. Like, come on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
your typical Puerto Rican guy. I have a Dodge Charger. That's what I. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Yeah,
But we opened up Fastlane with the first match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. This is Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes challenging the Judgment Day, which is being represented by Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who are the champions in this. So I think overall, as a whole, I like this match. I will say the second half was probably the better portion of it, and then the last 5 minutes was just absolute chaos, and I loved it.
I feel like it was, and this happened later on in another tag match, which I'm sorry, Luis has to talk about. It seemed like once Cody got back in, that was the gear shift for the second half, and then they took off. This was really measured at the top, and I'm not sure why. It was an interesting crowd tonight for sure. There was a lot of piped in sound at times, and I'm not sure how with it they were or what they were feeling. Not to shit on Indianapolis, but I was also like, are you not watching? Are you, who are you? So I didn't mind that it was measured. It just seemed a little too measured to me. They were really taking their time and whatever else was going on that. There were some interesting spots at the top, which kind of got buried, I think, because I don't think they were miscues, but they didn't start with the momentum I think they wanted.
Yeah.
And then it really picked up.
Yeah, structurally, I thought this match was it started kind of iffy, and I was wondering, I was like, oh man, did they not practice Jey and Cody being a tag team? Because we've already had a couple of weeks or a couple of months of Damian and Finn, so we know they kind of got like the two dudes with attitude thing going, And then I'm watching this match, and I'm like, all right, it's slowly starting to pick up, but definitely, this was the rare time where I felt like Cody was the best worker in the match. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big Cody fan. When you have guys like Finn and Jey in this match that can go, I expected them to shine through, and Cody definitely shined for me. But the four of these guys, they just worked really hard. This match was great. I love as we move in, I love like the whole shenanigans at the end. I really appreciated it. I was definitely interested in it. Once again, JD's putting in a weird position. So,
there was a great spot in the middle with Finn and Cody for about 90 seconds where they were just rolling, and that was really great to see.
Yeah.
Priest did a kick that the ref obviously saw and didn't say or even warn or anything, and I was like, "Come on, I had it better."
Yeah,
you're killing me. Cody saw that superplex was wild.
Yeah,
like, that was a really cool moment, and I bought the work. I thought Cody was hurt for about 30 seconds. I went, no, I think that's a thing.
I think they were trolling Stevie Richards because he did break down the last time Cody and Finn did a superplex. So I think that was his way of being like, you know what, like we're gonna show you. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stevie posts on YouTube this week. That really felt that way, but yeah.
I buy that. Sure. It looked great. Like that was a fantastic spot. I thought that was a lot of fun. There was that looked some of those dives. So this is the third time now I've seen Jey dive and clip the rope or like not get the height.
Yeah.
And it makes me nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the dives today were really bad. I would say the only crisp dive that I saw tonight was Santos on Bobby Lashley. Everything else was really scary looking.
Yeah, that one looked brutal. I have that here down because that almost looked like head to head, but as you kind of watch it, they did the replay. I was like, oh no, that was clean. Okay.
Yeah, it was clean. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Whoa. If I have one critique about this match, even though this was my favorite match of the night, what was it necessary for Cody to hit the Cody cut, like to hit the crossroads? Did it not look like him and Jey came up with a finish? Like, he picks him up for, like, the heart attack, and then he does the Cody Cutter. I was like, that's a perfect finish. Wrap
That
it
was
up right
great.
there. Why the extra? Like, I don't
Oh,
understand.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, what a great finish. I was like, man, nobody's done that before. That's completely unique.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
then, you know, he still needs to pick him up, and he still needs to give him a crossroads, and it was just like, come on, you didn't need that extra, like, I'm the guy. We get it. It's Roman, then it's you. We understand. Like,
I don't know who's calling those spots, you know, or if what that was. I agree with you though. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley, her selling of like just complete like just torment, that the fact that, oh my god, we came out here and we're the reason that we lost. Like, oh man, it was just perfect.
I'll say this, a lot of good acting tonight. There was a lot of good, solid, look at you be in the given circumstances and breathe acting teacher stuff. Like, oh, look at you doing your homework. Okay.
Yeah,
we don't
even
always,
Peacemaker
we don't always
all of a sudden look like a good seller. It was great.
Even Charlotte had a tear moment. I was like,
oh dude, that was I thought she was hurt. I was nervous. My heart was pounding. I was like, what happened?
I thought that was great. There were some really fun things in there. I really want to see where this Rhea Ripley Jay thing goes, because it's now the ring psychology stuff is fascinating to me.
Also, the social media stuff is getting out of hand. Like, somebody posted an AI generated like picture of like Titanic with Rhea and Jade. I was like, what is happening on the internet, you guys?
There's an internet thread where apparently people have like betting odds and over under on if anyone will ever punch Rhea Ripley, like male to female, and sort of what does that say for Attitude Era and Women in the Ring and stuff like that. Like, do you do the China arc and have her fight the men?
Right. Rhea Ripley will punch me, but it will be for a different reason.
I mean, whatever you pay women to do to you is up to you and is your business, Mikey.
Also, really quickly, since we're on this weird talk anyways, can someone explain to me, like, what was Damian Priest wearing up in the chest area? I was like, sir, we are a harness away from some very BDSM type of stuff. Rihanna's playing in the background, like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but chains and whips excite
someone
me.
On someone on Instagram said that Damian Priest is a bisexual Undertaker, and now that's all I see.
Right?
Yeah, he definitely was one of those, like, I don't know, man. He definitely grew up in the death metal era. You could tell that's what he enjoys. He's a big
Rammstein and
100%. Oh man, I saw Rammstein in '98 Family Values tour. That was not. I do not recommend. I do not recommend. That was a brutal for a 12-year-old kid or a 13-year-old kid, by the way. But yeah,
I know what you saw. I had friends who went.
Okay.
You were 12? You saw
13,
that
13. Yeah.
Woof, dude.
Yeah.
But, I knew I picked the right two people to be on this.
That was the one. I can't describe it without us getting demonetized.
No,
that was the thing with the hose and the dude and the thing and yes.
Yup. They replicated the keyboardist and everything. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. But yeah, let's hope Damian Priest never does anything like that.
No, take that, go to AEW. Tony Khan will let you do it. But not
well. So I mean, you guys pretty much covered a lot of this and then some, but just from my notes, I always pick out the weirdest stuff. Like, the first thing I wrote is, Jay, why are we having trouble taking off this t-shirt? Like, what was that spot?
Yo, this is like a thing for him. It's got to be a twin brother thing, because his brother doesn't even take off his t-shirt. People have to rip it off him. It's weird.
I'm like, Jay was having a hard time, and then he like slapped Damian with the t-shirt. I was like, what was that? I'm like, all right, sure, fine.
I'm not sure what you were trying to pull him down with it, and then, or was there just some
I don't know. That was weird.
I don't know.
Judgment Day. Let's see. Judgment Day, Family Reunion. The distraction for the 2 count. Rhea with the Money in the Bank briefcase for a 2 count, and then JD. I literally wrote in all caps, "Oh, JD fucked up big time." So,
yeah.
I mean, the finish of this. Yeah, Damian Priest was on the table.
Yeah.
Trying to, go through said table with somebody. JD grabs the briefcase, tries to hit Cody, but Cody gets out of the way. And JD hits the ankle part for Damian Priest. And at this point, all hell breaks loose because Damian goes down, Finn goes down, gets thrown back into the ring. Cody and Jay hit a modified their version of the 1D finisher,
Which
I guess.
Was awesome.
Awesome.
So, yes. And poor Finn Balor can't catch a break because he takes the pin in this match.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah,
I'm
watching that, complaining with my one buddy, my co-host on my podcast. He's a big Finn Balor fan, and he's just like, I swear, I swear WWE hates Finn Balor. He always loses, and I'm like, well, maybe if he was a little bit taller.
I mean, it's got. I mean, because Finn's what 41, 42, and I'm not saying they're phasing him out because he's incredible. Arguably, he's probably the best in the best physical shape of anyone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just watching him work out with folks on YouTube, it's like, oh my God, you're a demon.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, it's sort of how do we use you? Are we not using you appropriately? I do. A part of me feels bad, but I also hope Finn Balor's getting paid. Like, I hope he's getting the money to do this. But
yeah,
still makes me sad.
We'll see what happens. I really was expecting Damian to cash in and then defend the title at WrestleMania against Finn. That way, they both get their big moment this year.
That would have been amazing.
And not stop the match because not stop the match because Finn got busted open by a chair.
Yeah.
That sucked so bad because if that had not happened, I thought that match would have been a lot better than it ended up being. But I was there live.
Match.
See, I loved it too, except for when the 5 minutes they had to stop the match to make sure that Finn wasn't going to bleed all over the place more than he already did when he got busted open by the chair from Edge, aka Adam Copeland.
Well, it was a ladder, wasn't it? Didn't he chest pass the ladder?
That's right. It was a ladder.
It was a ladder, and he just went boom and split him right in the face.
They didn't teach him how to catch in Ireland. Yeah.
No basketball in Ireland. They have no idea.
I guess not. Holy hell! Because his hands just went through. It's almost like he's a Ken doll. He's just like.
Like that happened in Looney Tune cartoons. Like that was a Coyote
that
moment.
Was really
you
weird.
know what? Yeah. That perfectly describes how I feel about Finn Balor right now. He's walking like Muppet / Looney Tune character. He's just so over the top. It's I'm like, what is this?
I swear, I thought to myself the Monday night when he came out with that T-shirt, like the staples and stuff like that. I was like, this is the perfect way to turn him babyface. Like you got to do it now. You got to capitalize. Professor, you say it all the time. It makes too much sense.
It makes too much sense. They're not going to do it. God. Yep. There was a good 3 weeks there where I thought the same thing. It was like, turn him. Yep. Nope. Keep him in Judgment Day? Fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah. We all need James Ellsworth. So.
Let's talk about this Pizza Hut commercial.
Oh my God!
So it was already a bad night because I started off 0-1. I was like, "Damn it, Judgment Day! You had one job and you fucked it up."
So this makes me sad, and I know this is bad podcasting. I do prop bets with all the gents on the group chat and just joke bets. And I swear to you, I wrote in Austin Creed sighting and went, "No, he's not going to be there," and delete it and then sent the text. And then 30 minutes later, Austin Creed is doing a Pizza Hut bit. With Nate.
With Wade Barrett.
With Wade Barrett.
Booker T.
Oh my God. I was so
mad. My first thing that I noticed in this, I'm like, damn, Wade Barrett be looking rough out here. Like the bags under his eyes. I'm like, his face is a little sunken in. I'm like, Wade, what happened?
We normally see him sitting down. He looks like he lost a chunk of weight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's swimming in that suit.
Yeah.
And Booker T, I love you, but we can't
like
read
the shucky quack quack, shucky ducky quack quack. You don't like it?
Okay, so let me break this down for both of you and to the listening audience. So, as one of the two people who review NXT on a weekly basis, for the most part, I've said this. I hate Booker on commentary. I really, really do. He's gotten a little bit better. And I will give him credit when he does the ad libs is fine. I like the ad libs he does for Trick Williams' entrance. That's the only thing that I'm okay with him being the Booker T isms on. But everything else, he is so over the top heel. he makes Corey Graves look competent, and that's how much I don't like Booker T on commentary. I miss my 3-person commentary team of Wade Barrett, Vic Joseph, and Beth Phoenix. Like that was the perfect trifecta right there for commentary. I like that one better.
Wow. Tell me you didn't just say that, sucker. Listen,
here we go.
Booker T is one of the greatest talkers ever. Every time he's on a microphone, I love it. He just reminds me of old school Jerry Lawler. Just he doesn't talk about puppies. It's the best.
I mean, that's very fair. In that context, I will take Booker T over, the King any day. Especially because it's a different era. I will say he has gotten better, but yeah, Booker's not necessarily my favorite. But sir, we cannot read a script to save the life of him because that was wooden. That was horrible. And then once it was over, I was like, well, that was an interesting spot, but that would not be the last time we saw the Pizza Hut spots because, oh no, literally it was all over this next match, which is the 6-man tag. Well, first it started off as a 3-on-2, and then it turned into a full 6-man tag.
Oh, I was
still of the full opinion that Zelina should have been the temporary person. She just whoops everybody's ass. That'd be hilarious. That would have been
great.
WWE doesn't want to. I'm like,
she wrestles her. Use her like Lita. I don't know why.
She wrestles her husband, who is like 3 times the size of her, so we know she could take a bump.
Yeah, that's a little different though. Like I'm sure they're working each other really well, but this match was whatever until that last, until Carlito came out. When he came out, it was like wow, and it was like 45 seconds.
Yeah, and again, and we've talked about this before. There's certain matches where it's like, oh, you can just that's just a SmackDown match.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to put that on anything, whatever. And again, these Rey Mysterio sponsored matches always kind of hit that C+ B- place, which is a shame because Rey deserves better because Rey's working every night and killing it and doing amazing things. There was some okay spots in here. I mean, of course, Bobby Lashley being an ogre and holding up Rey with one hand, like all these beautiful things that they do.
Yeah.
Santos and Montez had this weird borderline Titanic eye-to-eye moment up on the turnbuckle. I don't know if y'all caught that. It was a good 10 seconds of
they were mean mugging.
Yeah.
Something was there, and I don't know if it was a communication thing, and then they went into the Hurricane Rana thing and jumped off. But you're right. It was just sort of, this could be anything. And then Carlito shows up.
The best 2 things that this match had going for it was the very gnarly, head-to-head butt that Santos did when he flew out of the ring and literally crashed. Full-on headbutt to Bobby Lashley. I was like, that's insane. That was crazy. And then, of course... Yep.
It's rare when it lines up that the camera is in the right spot, at least for the last few months. That was a perfect, right as that, boom, that was that beautiful action shot of that.
And then, of course, Carlito returning was great. But, okay, so I would like to present to the court of public opinion here. Luis, we got to have this talk because we're going to expose the group chat a little bit. Angelo Dawkins is better than
that's
Montez
my boy.
Ford.
Absolutely. 100%.
Let's talk about it.
Listen, when this team got together, everybody kept saying Montez is that dude. He's that dude. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. Let me just see what happened. And then all of a sudden he jumped off the gas, and I can see it a little bit in his chest now when he takes his shirt off. And I'm like, okay, all right. I grew up in the wrestling world. I know what that looks like. But Angelo Dawkins looks like a dude who hasn't really had that a part of his life, and he's just been really good. And I've watched him, and he's equally as athletic. He might not be able to do a frog splash as tall, but I've watched these guys live a lot, and I've always thought, why does Dawkins get no shine? And now I know I'm probably all by myself. I'm probably this guy who's trying to fight, with the world, saying that Matt Hardy's better than Jeff Hardy. I'm not doing that here, but I will say that Angelo Dawkins, to me, I think he's better in the ring. And when I watch him, he's just so exciting.
When I kind of agree with you on that Hardy bit, though. I was like, Matt is better.
When I first started here and started watching the Street Profits, they immediately became my top 1 or 2 tag teams, period, because I just had a blast watching them every time. And what makes me so impressed with Dawkins is that 2 things. 1, he just looks like your friend or your buddy or your dude or your cousin or your just the guy. But then all of a sudden gets in the ring and does these vertical leaps that are just nuts. Montez has control over it and is very athletic, and I'm not taking anything away. Dawkins almost jumps too high.
Yeah.
Like does these things that are like, whoa, out of nowhere. To where I'm like, he could have done any sport probably and beefed up to do it, you know, or probably did other sports. I don't quite know his history or back of that. I love watching
Yeah,
him.
he's a football player.
He's was he really? Was he an
Yeah.
NFL dude?
I think he was in the NFL. Yeah,
Because his one of the first. This is a long time ago, and I can ramble while you look it up. This dude, I can't remember what it was, but he did some sort of super punch thing. One of the first matches I ever watched, and I've got to go all the way back into the archives. But the dude he was fighting was not small, was the same height. And he got up there and was vertical, like a 90-degree angle, the same as him to land it. Now, when you have ridiculous hops. So yeah, the athleticism, I mean, I hate choosing between my children like that, but my God, you make a good case though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he just played college football for Harper College. Okay. Yeah. But no, when I watch him, what I see is someone that's progressing. And I got to be honest, let me just be fully transparent. Being the fact that I grew up like watching wrestlings from like 89, I was privy to really, really good big men wrestling. So I was a big fan of Big Boss Man. I was a big fan of Bam Bam Bigelow, of Vader. These were guys that I like. So when I watch Angelo Dawkins, that's kind of what I thought. And then he's losing weight. And I'm like, all right. So when I look at him, and I know this is a pretty shitty comparison, but when I look at him, I see D'Lo Brown, and I'm excited. So I'm like, let me get that. But when I look at Montez Ford, I'm like, all right, yeah, he's cool. You got a really beautiful wife. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like Angelo Dawkins will be like, he wins the world title, and they'll be like, Angelo Dawkins is the world champ. And then I feel like if Montez Ford wins the Royal Rumble, it'll be like, Bianca's husband won the Royal Rumble. And it's just like, all right.
Like, might be the most accurate thing you've ever seen. That's right on. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Montez Ford. I think he's so charismatic, but like, I kind of agree with you. Also, I'm echoing the sentiments of the professor as well. For the first time, I never thought I'd say this. I was like, I miss the solo cups.
I miss the solo cup thing. We kind of taken the fun out of who they were to do this Bobby Lashley thing. And now their shine is different. And maybe I'm just not with it yet. Maybe we're not there yet. Maybe they haven't cleaned up exactly where they're going other than let's be cool and have money.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of like, hey, you're here to, we're here to party and have fun and cause this trouble. Come with us, and you're all invited. Yeah, as opposed to now we're kind of elite. We wear watches and drive big cars with Bobby. It's like, you're appealing to a different archetype now, and you've changed it so abruptly.
It's like the new age evolution. I love it. I'm excited for it. I'm wondering where it's gonna go. And obviously, like, you couldn't have Carlito come out and then just lose. Like, that's just not good. That's not good.
I felt so bad. I mean, part of me was like, I was stoked to see him there and looking amazing.
Yeah, he's been looking that way for a minute. I just feel like nobody really pays attention to him, and it's like, you know.
Rude.
And what a great way for him to sell on Busted Open this week, because they asked him why he's not on TV every week, and he said women and wrestling. He's like, they're the only two people that don't call me. And I was just, what a great. I just loved it. I was like, this dude is like the best. I love him.
Such a good line.
Great. Yeah.
I love it so much.
I thought he looked great. He looked almost as big as Bobby. Shit.
Seriously? Oh my gosh.
I had a split second where I was like, oh, don't have him come out and just job. And then he came out and cleaned house, and it was like, oh, it's beautiful. Fantastic.
Backstabber. Montez took that perfect.
Mm-hmm. The fact, Montez was the one who got pinned here after the backstabber. So LWO finally gets a win, because who knows how long? Because
during Hispanic Heritage Month, finally.
Listen,
was it somebody in our chat, or somebody might have tweeted? Some must have said it on my TikTok that how long before they kick out Ray and Carlito's running the group, and they turn into a full heel faction.
I would say
I need that shit to happen Friday. Like,
like immediately
get him out.
That could be fun, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, if they're not going to pull the trigger for something to happen at Survivor Series, I would love to see it happen like leading into Royal Rumble season. Like, that would be fun.
Sure.
And then eventually continue to build it up to something at WrestleMania, whatever that looks like. But
yeah.
I mean, Granted, listen, if you wanted to do Carlito and Santos versus Dragon, Lee, and Ray, I would be here for it. If I'm being completely honest,
I'm down.
Just give me more luchador stuff. That's what I want. Side note: a friend of mine just texted me about the scrum, and I was chuckling because he said to me, "It's like, yo, Cody and Jay admitted on the scrum that they are plastered and they're drunk off their asses doing this." So I was like, "Yes!"
Shocker.
I was like, "Yes!"
That's pretty great.
It's out of control, and I love it. But
yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that when we get off here. Then
I gotta go
just for that moment, be like, "All right, how drunk are they?" So
was it? Did LWO ever have a heel faction?
Yeah, they were a heel faction originally. Eddie was a heel.
You're right. Yeah, of course.
He forced people to join the LWO. He forced Chavo to join. Right. He forced Ray to join. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that hook because that was right when
Psychosis. It was Silver King, El Dandy. Who's the other guy? Juventud Guerrera. Yeah. Okay. It was a great
and then what did Salvio Vega created his own thing, but that was completely different.
Boricuas.
Right? Boricuas. What was Boricuas? Was against NW? Was against
the Acolytes of Destruction.
Okay, that's what that was.
Yeah, or the Nation of Domination.
Nation of Domination. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. Oh, I'm trying to go back to the 90s.
It was like a 3-team feud. It was really cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I picked the right two people to be on this review.
Because I remember the Vega faction. I remember the entrance of it when they jumped out in all white, and I was like, "Oh damn, they're gonna kill everybody." And I think that might be a lot of fun if it was and then because Ray's never been heel, and that's been Ray's choice forever. So to kick him out to do the turn, I mean, it gives him somewhere to go, and that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be cool. I'm just kind of thinking of Zelina just betraying him and then just joining with Carlito. I feel like what a great way to to get the fans excited. You have all of a sudden you have Santos change his t-shirt, right? So he's rocking the Mexican LWO, and then all of a sudden he's wearing the Puerto Rican one, and I was like, wow, what a way to do this! Like this is great.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Selena Vega crushing Montez Ford. Gorgeous moment.
Yes. Give me more of that. Like, WWE, let this woman wrestle. Like, what are we doing?
I don't understand. I want to see her work more, man. I don't get it. She's so good in the ring. It's so weird.
It makes me upset because she got more in-ring time in TNA than she ever did here in WWE, and it makes me upset.
She's a really good talker. I think that's the problem. She's so good on the mic. She's such a good manager. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Fine.
Let's talk about the next one because I want to hear Luis talk about this
match of the night. I will fight anybody on it. Like, don't at me. And I was telling Luis this earlier when we were reviewing SmackDown. I got spoiled because when I went to the house show in my area for WWE, they literally gave us this match. It was Charlotte, Io, and Asuka. Now, the big difference here is that Asuka took the pin at the house show. Charlotte took the pin here, and I got my wish that when we talked about it during the SmackDown review.
I called it on the review. I said I knew she was going to pin Charlotte. Yeah.
Yep.
I did.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I called that. I was like, I knew it. And this is why. In NXT, when Charlotte was the NXT champion for the second time, when she dropped the title, she dropped it to Io, and she took Io's pin. And I thought to myself, I was like, there's not very many people that beat Charlotte in this situation. If you're in a triple threat match with her and she drops the title, it's the other person. But Charlotte does this. She dropped the title to Carmella. Mella should have never been champion ever for anything. Maybe 24/7 champion. And she dropped the title to Nikki Cross, which I personally love. I'll fight anybody. And I feel like this is what she does. She has no problem dropping the strap to anybody. And I was like, all right, here's the way to do it. She's already kind of had this feud going with Asuka, and it makes sense for the future because now she hasn't beaten Io. That's a story that can be told.
Right. Now they have somewhere to go. That's smart. Yeah, I buy that. I love seeing the mist right out the gate. I thought that kind of set the tone. Like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Charlotte sold that beautifully. And the 2 camera cuts they had to her of her just bawling, crying, really sold to me. Like we said earlier, like, oh, is she actually hurt? Is she actually feeling this?
I got worried. I was like,
there was a part of me that thought, oh, are they going to use the mist to make this all Asuka Io and not see Charlotte again?
Yeah.
And then the moment I thought that, I saw this boot fly in and bam, she got Asuka. I was like, okay, she's back. Okay.
So
by the way, Shout out
go
to the
ahead,
camera
Kev.
people. The
Yes.
camera work was the best during this match, and I don't care what nobody says. The
Mhm.
camera,
100%.
Absolutely.
cameramen were on point this whole entire match.
I'd like to throw some callbacks here because I want to point something out. Charlotte had a nose abrasion in her match with Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series.
Right.
That match stole the show. Charlotte got hurt in the match. Charlotte takes a belly to belly or a belly to back suplex, was supposed to be a German suplex against Rhea Ripley, and lands on her forehead. She gets hurt. They steal the show. So I think, just based off what I watched, I don't think Charlotte's this good an actress. I think she might have got misted and forgot to close her eyes. Right? And I think she was so angry that she went in there and they were like, yeah, we're going to tear this shit down. Because the chops she was laying in were like, oh my God. I don't know if you watched the Bryan Danielson match with the Aussie Open cat earlier.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Bryan was chopping this shit, and I was like, you don't even chop. What is this? 20 years I've been watching you. You don't chop. What are you doing to this poor kid? So, and I was watching Charlotte, I was like, she normally has these, like, chops, like the shoulder chops, right? No, man. No.
She was landing them, too.
She was nailing them. They were loud. Well, I was like, shit, is that Drew McIntyre? What is going on right now?
She was reaching, and I might have to watch it again. Normally, like, you're right, she's going off the shoulder.
Yeah.
She was reaching for the other shoulder.
Yeah.
So it was that whole forearm was going brrr, and you saw it in Io, her head and everything. Like,
not just even the chops too. Like, she's kicking people's heads left and right with the boots. I was like, that's a little violent.
But I wonder if she gave Asuka a receipt, because that first forearm before the chops happened, that looked brutal. That did not look like the forearms we've been watching, because for months everybody forgot how to punch and everybody throws a forearm now. And when she laid into her when she hit that, you could tell she hit her snug. She definitely clipped like either the meaty part of her neck and then right where her collarbone was. And I was like, holy shit! Like, geez.
There were some maybe I didn't catch a lot in the last Street Profits LWO Bobby Lashley. I caught a lot in the first match. Judgment Day landed some shots.
Yeah.
Jay took a few stiff ones in the turnbuckle. This one, there were some stiff shots in here as well. A little bit more than just, look at me, we're strong style. Like, there was some stuff that landed here. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a receipt somewhere in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely agree.
This whole entire match, I was enjoying it. And funny enough, I said this during the SmackDown review when we were doing our Fastlane predictions. I got spoiled because I got to see this match. But this lived up to my expectations and even more. Some of the standout moments, obviously, when I believe it was Asuka. Charlotte has Io like on her back, like fireman carry pose, and then Asuka just comes up and back drops both of them. Charlotte literally just grabbing both of them and then throwing them onto the floor. That meteora from Io to Charlotte, like knees connecting to face, and again, camera shot, beautiful, loved it. It was great.
That two moonsaults in a row, the one Io threw and just, missed barely, but it still looked beautiful. Got right to Asuka, and then that one that Charlotte did out of nowhere. I mean, she has one obviously, but it was just sort of like, that was gorgeous, and then landed it just right. That was beautiful as well. There were a lot of these really cool moments like that.
Io like literally slingshotting Bat Out of Hell through the middle rope and full on like tackling Charlotte to the ground.
Io did a Shoryuken and off the corner, Shoryuken.
Yeah,
like, oh my God, that was amazing.
It was great. It was great. And Charlotte, that's the thing. Like, I wonder how snug she hit Charlotte, because Charlotte's cell wasn't that great. It was almost like that shit hurt. Like, what's wrong with you? You just hit me in the face. Like, you know.
It's interesting because they've been, we've had the same four women working together, like, for, let's say, the last, 10 weeks. So I feel like by now they know each other, and they know each other very well. So, and I know that shit happens, I'm sure, and whatever they're calling out. Asuka and Io work so well together. And I don't know. We talked about this a few weeks back. I was asking you, Mikey, and JVL was talking about it a little bit too. I know they had beef and issues years and years ago
in Japan. Yep.
And I don't know if it ever simmered or if they talked it out or whatever. But they're working so regularly with each other the last few years.
I know, because I think the statement I still stands. Last of what I heard, they're on better terms now. They're cordial to each other, but again, in Japanese wrestling, like feuds and like bad blood never truly dies.
Oh, well, for thousands of years, they write books about that. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I wouldn't be surprised if these two let a little animosity out. But
Sure.
honestly, I was surprised of how much they actually worked together to like keep Charlotte at bay, which was what surprised me. I mean, not really.
They talked in Japanese to each other.
Yeah.
When they look at each other and they're saying it in Japanese to each other about Charlotte. And then there's another spot where you see him calling it, and I'm like, I lip read pretty well. That is not English. Like, they're doing so many things. There's about 90 seconds there in the middle where I think they were just riffing, and they were going thing to thing to thing. I was like, oh my God, like, I'll watch that all day. I didn't take any notes. I just remember going, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I got my wish because this match was at least 20 minutes, and the women killed it. The ending of this also, I didn't mind. So Charlotte locks in Asuka, and you know, Bailey's out there to distract the ref because Io's like on the floor trying to get back into it. And the ref doesn't see Asuka tapping to Charlotte, which allows Io to hit her moonsault on. Ooh, that moonsault landing on Charlotte. I was like,
At the last second.
That's the second time Charlotte's taken that spot.
At the last second, she lets it go. And it makes me nervous because if she mistimes that someday, those elbows going to go poof, like there's no way.
I don't understand how she does it, man. That's such a great spot.
Seriously, but
it's a great spot. It scares me every time.
And then of course Io pins Charlotte for the win. So you're still your WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky. I liked that Charlotte took the pin here because, you know, I said this on the SummerSlam review. I still had issue with Asuka taking the pin in that match between her and Bianca and Charlotte.
Really?
Sure.
But we discussed it there, and you know, I'm in a better place with it now because, you know, Io ended up cashing in her Money in the Bank briefcase, and thus now she's champion.
You still think back to SummerSlam?
Yeah, I kind of have. Well, here's the thing. I kind of have to because, you know, looking back at the summer for WWE, it was just like, wow, we had such a great summer, and then you ruined it with SummerSlam.
I was going to say, that was like one of Luis's first reviews.
It was.
Luis being like, man, I'm sad I got to be here. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you got to watch this.
No, it's fine. I didn't realize that WWE could produce an episode of Dynamite. I just didn't. You know,
damn.
I was watching. So it was just like.
See, and Professor can laugh at that because he is the person who normally does Dynamite with JBL.
I'll tell you what, Collision is the A show for me. I don't know.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're probably not wrong. I got to jump over there. Dynamite, I don't know what they want to do over there. And I took 2 weeks off, and even with Adam Copeland showing up, I don't feel like I've missed anything, which is sad to say out loud.
Nope.
The only good thing that you missed is Tony Storm solidifying this new character and just the outlandish thing she says outside of at picture-in-picture and breaking the fourth wall. We'll be right back from a word from these very important sponsors.
And then she booty bites people now.
Yeah, she booty bites people. And then literally during picture-in-picture, because I got the Fight TV feed when I watched it, which, you know, we don't get picture-in-picture. She's like, it's time for a titty slap. And she's literally chopping girls in the breasticle area. And then literally she says to Sky Blue, give me those titties, eh? I was like, what is happening?
I went to the bathroom out of rehearsal. I came out of rehearsal to check my phone.
That's right.
And you sent this link, and I'm walking in the hallway in an empty college, and I come down the steps, and that's what plays hella loud on my phone, and it just echoes, titty, 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 titty. Like, and it was like, what? And then there's students down there, and there's someone else like, I'm pretty sure everybody heard that. And then the second half of what you said echoes again. And I was like, I'm gonna walk into rehearsal and close this. Hi, everybody. I don't know if
You're
heard that.
Welcome.
So now I'm the dude who watches wrestling in the bathroom, and that's what it is.
The implications are there. But, you know, to get back on point here, for me personally, this was my match of the night. I really enjoyed this. I thought, but all three of these women killed it. They did give it time. And then, you know, I will admit, while I had some critiques about, you know, the 6-man tag and then the tag team championship match, overall, it's like, you know what? Fastlane's doing pretty good. I can't wait to see how the last two matches go. And then I should have known better because then things got out of hand. By the way, I forgot. I didn't write this down in my notes. So I was like, what match did the Pizza Hut delivery guy come and deliver pizza to Michael Cole?
I don't know, but I'm going to get fired at that moment. Like, if you don't let me eat that pizza, I'm going to get fired. Like, don't tell me that this is a problem. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're going to let me take a bite here. Yeah.
Listen, I'm a fat boy at heart. You cannot tease me with pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut has the same box they had in the 80s. They never changed the box. That was
you don't change a good thing.
We don't have Pizza Hut out here, man.
Yeah. I like their breadsticks. I'm not a big fan of their pizza. I like their breadsticks. They used to do,
I don't know if you got, maybe I'm old. Maybe Luis did this. They had a thing called Book It where you would read books to go take it.
Listen, I was a child of the 90s. That was a thing for me.
You had
you get a free personal.
That sounds like smart
pizza.
people shit. They didn't do that here in Jersey. They didn't do that here in Pennsylvania. Get out of here.
We're exposing everybody left and
right.
No.
No way. We had Pizza Hut in like a Discovery Zone. That's what we had. You go in and be like, it would be like DZ at Discovery Zone, and they'd be like, here, go play over there. Come over here and eat your pizza.
Discovery Zone Pizza Hut pizza was so much better for some reason.
Yeah,
we'll never know why.
Yeah,
because Discovery Zone's gone. Sorry, the next few matches were so good. We're talking about Pizza Hut.
Oh man, I swear I am not the biggest fan of all four of these wrestlers. Like I don't want to hold on. I don't want my son to yell at me because he's for some reason Solo's moving into his like top spots there. But when I watch Solo, I'm just thinking like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Because this kid looks like really green out there to me, and he looks like he's being forced to work these big moments. And I want him to work more like vets,
right.
But
well, let's pump the brakes because we should always talk about how great that Pat McAfee promo was.
Oh man,
listen, he's good. He's good at his ESPN job, but this no.
I don't know why he's getting. What drives me crazy is when he says he's part of the WWE universe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sort of like, for those of us who part of the WWE universe, and then he flips it and goes like, and you all too. I'm like, no, McAfee, you're not. Oh, you drive me nuts.
You're not on the commentating team anymore. Like, you're not doing this full time.
And I know I have friends who listen to him. I have friends who love what he does. I know college football nerds who adore him and his podcast. And apparently he's funny and he's a great guy and they like him and whatever. It just comes off to me as that one rich white kid you knew in high school who you hated anyway, who was never going to be your friend, but you went to elementary school together and you knew each other. And then he just kind of became something and he knows and thinks he's better than you.
Yeah.
And I can't shake that. And maybe that's me just reflecting on people I know in my real life, but I just seem like, no, you represent everything I hate about the world. I don't want to listen to you talk. You're wearing a $400 replica belt with the Colts on it.
Oh my God.
And the only reason I know how much it is because I looked up the 49er one to see if I could get one, and I know I can't. So I'm even more upset with you now.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this. I was just like, I also looked it up because I was like, I'm like, I wonder how much this is because I was thinking about giving Mama Laguillo one. She's not a wrestling fan, but she's a big 49er fan. So there's a reason there's a reason you two like me because by osmosis,
Yeah, that's all right.
Someday we're gonna hang out with your mom. And it's gonna be all right. It's gonna happen.
As a side note, she loves every single one of you. Like she will catch our reviews from time to time. And again, Mama Laguillo has come in clutch for buying some of these pay-per-views for us.
Well, there you go.
Mama Laguillo. Oh,
but anyway, so I looked at it. I was like, I'm not spending $500 on this. I love my mom, but not that much. I was like, and I showed her the price. She's like, oh, no, I don't want it. Forget that. Nobody. I'm like, $500 is a car payment. And I was like, yes, exactly. She's like, put that money towards a car payment.
It's also one of those gifts you would get your mom for Mother's Day, and she'd be mad that you got it. Not mad like humble mad, like mad like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. I saved up money for that eco-friendly title, right? And then I had the money. I was looking at it and I was like, and then the next week, me, my wife, and my son went to Puerto Rico. I was like, you know what? We're gonna go do this instead. Let's go home. Let's go home and just swim at the beach.
Give you core memories. Yeah, let's do that.
I only have one replica title, and that's the SmackDown title because that was the first one I bought once I really started getting back into WWE. And then I'm just looking, I was like, okay, what title do I want to get? And I'm going to shock a lot of people, but not really. The one title I'm probably considering getting a replica of just because of how much I'm enjoying the product. I'm getting me the men's NXT title just because I
Ooh.
think it looks really nice.
That's cool. Yeah.
And honestly, it's the cheapest out of the 3 brands in their main championships. I'm just putting it out.
I got in the background, a buddy of mine sent me an AEW tag belt with the Young Bucks on it, and that was like pre-COVID. That was like year 1.5 AEW, and I wasn't even.
Don't get Louise started on the Young Bucks.
No, that's why it's funny. Because normally it's in the back. It's in the background of all my stuff, and I'm always like, "Yeah, there's that title thing." But like, I don't know. It's a toy. That's why
you could tell how much we love LA Knight and John Cena versus the
how great this match was.
I think we could just segue. I think we could just talk about this in like 30 seconds and move on to the main event because that was 28 minutes of.
The cameraman failed because they caught John Cena telling Solo Sikoa and calling spots. I was like, y'all had one job.
Cena called at least 3 spots that I caught. He called the headbutt
always
one.
Does that.
Well, Cena's notorious for calling stuff and getting it anyway.
100%.
And I don't know if he was telling Solo what to do or if that's just how he works or what. But it was definitely like, I'm catching everything. And this is from straight out of the group chat, and I'm quoting you, Luis, and I apologize. You're right. It's kind of an interesting scenario when LA Knight's the strongest wrestler in the ring.
Yeah, I was watching him and I was like, why does he? I see people bashing him on Twitter and they're like, he's so sloppy. And I'm thinking like, sloppy? Have you not watched the other 3? Like Jimmy can't even take like a clothesline without falling awkwardly. Solo doesn't know how to fall at all. And Cena's just Cena. Like, I don't know what you wanted of John Cena, but he's Cena. He's
and
almost 50.
And we've talked about this a lot. I wasn't watching the bulk of Cena's career because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. I've caught up a little bit and I know what he's good for. And he's obviously almost 50, so he's different. But being almost 50 and doing this, wanting a match, fine. There's still years of rust. And he's sort of just a hair behind on a lot of things. And I'm not shitting on John Cena. He's still really great on the mic, and he sells the audience, and they adore him.
What do you mean? Shit on John Cena. That's what's missing from him. These people stopped chanting, "You suck, Cena." It used to be John Cena sucks, so the theme song, and that's what helped. And now he's just like super babyface, and he's boring.
So, John, you are such a nice individual. I love you for it, but I'll do you the honors. I'm gonna shit on this match.
You can shit on these people. I loved watching LA Knight, and the rest of the match, I was like,
he's growing. He's growing. He's doing really well.
This is my biggest problem because I was just like, I feel like Cena was in way too long for this match. Like LA Knight was like only important for like the last 2 minutes of this match, but
then it was over. And then it was over.
John Cena did not need to be in the ring that long, literally. And then, okay, so I don't have as big of a problem as Solo. Only I hate this version of him. I like the I'm gonna kick everybody's ass street champion NXT Solo Sikoa we got in NXT, and that's
back when he actually talked.
Yes, when he actually talked and wasn't quiet.
Use your words. Yeah,
I will say, and I have a little bit of trepidation with it, but everyone's just like, because with Solo having the Samoa Spike, everyone's like, oh, they should do Cena versus Solo because it's like the spiritual successor of Umaga. I was like, first of all, how dare you?
I don't want that.
I was like, when I hear that, I'm like, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, that's blasphemous.
Solo missed the drop in the turnbuckle, so he did it a second time. Oh my gosh. How do you miss that?
I don't know.
He's below you. Just sit down. He missed it, and then they did it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that was. The camera cut away, and then we cut back, and he was doing it again. So the foot looked like the foot might have slipped on the first one.
Maybe
but that was such
shoes.
I mean,
I don't know.
I help.
And then Jimmy Uso, what are we doing with you? Because literally, Jimmy was like that one kid in high school who was like instigating, like hyping everybody up in the drama and in the mess. But I'm just like, Jimmy didn't attribute anything. And I was just like, I liked him just doing whatever on Friday Night SmackDown, like literally making decisions without approving it with Roman. And then I thought they were going to kill it during this match because the build-up was fun for this. And then the actual match happened and it made me sad.
I mean, I don't mind chaotic neutral Jimmy, or I don't hate it. Like, let me just see the world burn and fuck around. I don't hate that.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get in the ring and you're getting these big ass spots, you got to hold up something.
That was the other thing too. Solo Sikoa was also in this match way too long. Both him and Cena, I feel like, were in this match way too long. Jimmy didn't really add anything. And I'm just sitting here, I was like, listen, LA Knight is very divisive. Either you like the guy or you hate the guy. But I feel bad for LA Knight in this position. I'm like, man, you just got paid to sit there for like 15 minutes. And then the last 2 minutes you came in and saved the day and won the match for your team. But, you know.
I do think Cena, I do think Cena, it's looking really sticky now when he plays the camera in this ultra heel comeback, look at me place. And I get it to a degree that he's inspiring and people love him and whatever.
I will say, I did get a chuckle towards the end when LA Knight was, pinning Jimmy for the win here. My friend sent me a text with the caption, and I busted up laughing. John Cena, the way that he was looking to make sure that nobody else came into the ring, is like, did someone leave John Cena in the idle position in a fighting game? Like, what was that?
Yeah.
Looking around.
Yes. I will say this is the second straight day where somebody's taking blunt force trauma correctly. It looks like people are starting to take it good now. Here we go. Like, now it's starting to look like a good finisher.
Listen, I get scared when LA Knight misses, but that running to the turnbuckle and jumping to the top rope from the ground,
that was fantastic.
That always, when it lands, that always works for me.
Corey Graves said he's never seen that athleticism before. Or whoever that was on commentary. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Rey Mysterio just wrestled a couple matches ago. What's wrong with you?
Rey Mysterio just fought a golem.
No.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
They took all the alcohol away from Corey Graves and Michael Cole, and they gave it to Jay and Cody because they are drunk off their asses still.
That was so crazy. Funny.
I got to go watch that presser if they're just getting drunk.
Just for that. Also, someone sent me that one of the reporters asked a really stupid question to Io Shirai, and Io literally said, "Is like, are you stupid?" Like, I was like,
That's just she is, man.
Yeah,
she don't have time for nonsense, and I'm here for it.
You ever seen that clip of somebody calling her Chinese?
Yes, I was just like,
oh my god.
What?
Some dude, she was in the ring and she was stretching. She was doing like the thing that Sasha took to the main roster, like the splits, where she's in the ring.
Sure.
And somebody goes, "Go back to China," and she just like peeks through the ropes and she's like, "I'm Japanese. Fuck you."
Oh my
god! It's such a great clip. It's so great.
Just like Asuka and Io are the two wrong people to do stuff to that because they will literally kick your ass, and I'm kind of here for it. Like, especially Io. Io got no time for that nonsense.
Yeah.
Speaking of nonsense, like this next part really actually made me sad and upset. So we're because in the back we literally got told it's like, oh, Damien's not cashing in tonight. I'm like, what the fuck was this? Oh,
I thought it was a work, man. I really when I said that in the chat, I was like, this better be a work. Like, I hope this is a work. I thought to myself, like, oh, this is great. What a great story. Seth's going to be super tired. Judgment Day's going to come out. They're going to beat him down. And he's going to come out right at the end, walking perfectly fine. And he's going to cash in and win the title. That's what I wanted. And then to see that they did this, and I was like, that little JD motherfucker, I just can't believe you hit him in the knee. And right away, I was just like, this just ruined my night, man. I really wanted that cash in.
And so we'll talk about... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just had to go watch what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, stone-faced, like,
yeah.
Oh, I've seen that look in bars. Like, she gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Gosh, but
okay.
This Judgment Day segment really made me mad when I know what. And this was before the main event. I was like, oh, they're working me. And then the main event happened, and we got the recap video as soon as it ended. I was like, gosh, dang it.
Yeah, I was like, come on.
So, I mean, part of the tell for me was that it was so well memorized. It was so directed. Exactly. It was so crisp. It wasn't like some of these other promos that they try to rush after matches or that show up in hallways or in the bowels of whatever arena it was. So that was kind of a tell for me. So I had a similar feeling where I was like, you gotta do something with it. You're gonna do something. You gotta do it now, right? Like you just lost those tag titles. You just had this horrible thing happen. Now's the time to, I don't know.
100%.
Like, this is where it's going. And then now you create this Seth Shinsuke Judo thing like that gives you someplace to go.
I got to be honest with you, and I feel bad that Seth Rollins has just come in the middle of this because we've waited for so long. For so many years, we were like, oh, I want Seth to be a world champion. We're waiting for Seth to be a world champion. Now he's a world champion. Everybody's already booking for him to lose the title, and it's like, it's because we know, and I want to make this clear, it's not that we hate Seth as a fan base. It's because we know that title will actually get pushed on to somebody else. And we know that Roman's going to break Bruno's record. So it's like, that title's not going anywhere. But this title can actually be on multiple people. That's what it's about. And I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, people are fickle. It's not that. Everybody's holding their championships forever. We're not seeing any title changes. So now we're all craving a title change. We got one tonight. And when Carlito beats Ray on Friday and kicks him out of LWO, that'll be great too.
Dude. So what you're telling me is that we have to have you come back for SmackDown to see if that's the case.
I hope. Listen.
How wild would that be? How much fun would that be? Anyway, again, this match so good. We're talking about SmackDowns that haven't happened.
Mm-hmm. That haven't happened.
I was disappointed with. Again, I know that usually last man standing matches are going to go slow, only because you got to set up spots and you got to do them and all this good stuff. I have to say, I don't know if it was because of how small the arena was and maybe if they were limited on certain things, but you can't have a street fight at Payback the way that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the Judgment Day, like literally started bleeding all over the place.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And I don't know if they had to take precautions because, Seth is, according to reports, actually working hurt. Like the back pain is real. So who knows if they had to adjust a lot of it. But I feel that the first half of this match, they rushed through a lot of spots, like not even 2 minutes into the match. And then the concrete started coming up. I was just like, but then it didn't play into anything until we got to the end. So again, I know setting up spots and whatnot. When they went to the crowd the first time and they jumped into the crash pad, which you guys got to disguise that better.
I was so mad about that.
I was like, listen, I could tell it's a crash pad. You guys didn't disguise it enough. And then on top of that too, I was like, is that duct tape holding the railing together? Like, what is this?
Yeah. I was so mad about that. And I don't know if that's because they're going town to town and it's a different crew or whatever. You would think there would be some consistency with the cameramen, but they turned straight on to the crash pad.
Yeah.
All you had to do was angle that 33 degrees as someone who took 2 film classes and got a C in both of them. All you have to do is angle that just enough to keep that out of frame for 20, 30 feet. And then we get them climbing and we never see that happen. And then you don't follow Seth when he falls. Just let him fall. Problem solved. It looked like a kid jumping off a bed.
Mm-hmm.
And even when Seth hit it, it caught him just fine. And then he had to oversell because I feel like he kind of knew that everyone was seeing it, and it was so well lit. Why are there spotlights on that?
I don't know.
There's so many little things like that took me out of it. The nunchuck bit.
The second time they went to,
I love seeing the nunchucks fly because I'm a martial arts dude and I do fight choreography. I love seeing.
I'm upset. I wanted Shinsuke to actually whip Seth with them, but
sure.
We
but
didn't even get that.
Punching so far into where I can see how they're taped and I could see him squishing them as we got those are tiny little finesse things you gotta fix.
I want to talk about this because I legit got mad at this. So when Shinsuke jumped off of the top turnbuckle and kneed Seth through the table, right? And I was like, yo, that was a cool spot. I saw the table. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, that is way too clean of a cut through this table. That is horrible. Fire the table, people, immediately. You could tell how clean it was through the middle. I was like, oh my gosh, really?
I mean, and these are nitpicky things.
Irrationally mad. I was just like, what is this?
But these all add up to stuff that takes us out of it, right?
That's the problem. That's why this match was just fine. I want to give credit to Seth for his rollout to stand for the 10 count. I was like, all right, that's smart. But then I just feel like there's too many flaws. And then I come back to this thing, and I hate to say it because I don't want to bring up Bray Wyatt in a negative light, but I just want to say that towards the end of Seth's run as world champion, he started having these types of matches where it was almost like he didn't have much more to give. You know, like this is what I'm watching, because at the end of that run, when he wrestles like Bray and he drops the title to the Fiend, it was almost like we were kind of like tired of Seth as champion. And it's just like he's not cutting great promos right now. This whole like bit that he has, like I feel like this character plays better as a heel. And I'm just watching it and I'm like, man, Seth, like you gotta give me something else. You gotta give me something else. Like surprise me. Give me you versus Chad Gable next. Give me like show me you can still do this type of stuff.
Which is really hard coming off the first match between these two. And like we talked about in the group chat, where it was like, yeah, I'm watching one of the coolest anime commercials ever.
The payback match was so much better, and it was a regular match. It wasn't
how they made this feel mediocre is kind of weird, like because the two of them are incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean the ladder stuff I didn't hate. I thought that was fun. I thought the mist was surprising to me. I thought that was fun. Like I didn't hate any of those bits.
I like the mist, and you know I give commentary props on this because you know, for those of us that actually watch more than just the WWE product, we know that Muta has blessed Shinsuke with Shinsuke and Asuka with the mist, especially since Shinsuke was the one who beat him in Japan earlier this year during his retirement match. Like Shinsuke was the one who beat him, and Muta gave Shinsuke the blessing to do the mist should he choose to whenever he wants to. Same thing with Asuka.
Sure.
By the way, I love that little bit. You see it a lot with Japanese wrestlers, like they'll pass on bits and pieces to you know the next generation, which is fun. And that spot was cool. But then again, had the match ended right there, I was like, well, not a lot happened, but you know what? Shinsuke is new, a champion. You know, this is great. Obviously, I don't think he's holding on to it for a while. And then Seth got up. I'm like, oh, damn it. I was like, I look at my clock. I was like, how much longer are we going to go with this? And then we got like another 8 minutes. They go into the crowd again for the second time, you know, where they're fighting on this very like platform, very narrowly. I was like, that is a very narrow. You are like one slip away from somebody going down. And this was a better disguise because I was just like, oh, those are 2 tables that you just went through. That was great. At least they hid those better than the crash pad.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I hated how the way that Shinsuke got up on his feet and he looked like he slipped on the carpet. I was like, this is some bullshit. And Seth just magically getting up at the last like millisecond to win. I was like, okay, fine. And then I thought about it, but I'm gonna let you guys talk because then I'm gonna go off because I have big issue as an overarching theme of how we got here.
Well, I have two quick thoughts, and one that is throwing me right back to you two. I don't mind the Rocky 2 first one to stand at the 10 count ending. I don't hate that. I think you could have just built that a little better. Dare I say a lot better, because to me the 10 counts felt arbitrary.
Yeah.
The ref could start counting 10 whenever they wanted. It wasn't like I'm going to wait for you both to fall. It wasn't when I think you injured. It was every now and then I'm going to go 1. Like there was no consistency with that. And I've never really seen this before in matches like this.
No, you would think that Seth Rollins would like watch his mentor's match from '98 from Fully Loaded, or from Fully Loaded 2000. I mean, because Jericho and Triple H showed us exactly how to pull off the Apollo Creed and Rocky 10 count. It was the pay-per-view where they were rocking with the 3 main events, right? We had like Kurt Angle versus Taker, we had Triple H versus Jericho, and I forgot who The Rock was wrestling. And in this, you saw Triple H get up at the last millisecond. He beat Jericho at the very last second in their last man standing match. And it was like, that's a great spot. But then you watch this and you're like, man, this just felt like they didn't really know how to finish this match, and they decided at the right before they went out there, I'll just get up right at the 10 count. Like that's what it felt like to me. Even like everything else felt rehearsed, and then this felt like they just threw this in at the very last second.
Oh my gosh, that was 2000. Holy crap, that was that long ago.
Yeah, man.
I
forgot who the
We're
Rock
old.
worked, though.
We're old.
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
So
where is it? Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Triple H. The main event was The Rock and Chris Benoit.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
Voldemort, thou who should not be named. sadly.
Woof. Yeah, Triple H suplex Jericho, and then both men fell down. Triple H got up on the 9 while Jericho stayed down for the 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh, I remember that. But that's how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, not to go full cinematic, but you know, struggling to stand up, I get it. You're hurt to stand, I get it. But you got to have some kind of fighting for, not slipping, not mistakes, not, I don't know. Ugh.
Well, I feel like there also has to be a believability factor. Now,
Sure.
I get that this is WWE and we're spoiled in other companies, not just AEW, because Impact also is allowed to bleed all over the place. I'm not saying people need to bleed for me to believe that you're struggling to stand up,
Mm-hmm.
but WWE pulls a lot of their punches back when it comes to these types of gimmick matches. And again, it's not fair, but I was just like, Kevin Owens was bleeding all over the place, and Judgment Day and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they killed it in the street fight at Payback.
Sure.
So again, this is more of a singles match, but I was expecting that kind of level of carnage. Like I wanted more violent spots. I wanted be innovative.
For that one, I feel like Kevin Owens took the Terry Funk tribute match personal and went,
Mhm.
y'all.
That's fair.
Y'all messed this up. I'm going to fix it. I agree. I think if you're not going to bleed, you have to show me that violence, quote unquote, in a different way.
Make me believe that, oh my gosh, you guys destroyed each other for the last 30 minutes. And like, I can understand if Shinsuke just passes out on the carpet. He's like, I have nothing left to give. But how we got to the ending in between all this, I was like, you guys had the spots. And I'm not saying, I want to preface by saying this is like, they were probably gassed because doing all that stuff that they did up until that point is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, you know, I respect my athletes and those who actually did it. Like, I don't know what that's like. However, from a writing perspective, and just if you're going with story beat to story beat, again, I'm not a theater person, but writing is my strong suit. You need to give me a cause and effect. So what were the causes that led up to Shinsuke like passing out and be like, I can't go on? Like, where was the cause of event A, B, C, and D? And just over the course of the last 30 minutes, if there are certain chains of events that make sense to where we get to for the ending of this, I can believe that. The problem I have is that, and this is what I wanted to talk about, this feud has been a tale of, it seems that it was a tale of two different creative teams behind it. You know, when the feud initially started and then us getting all the way to Payback, this was a feud where Shinsuke and Seth were looking to kill each other because, you know, Shinsuke turned heel and then Seth wanted revenge. And then they had their match at Payback. Like,
well, that Shinsuke anime promo was just like, I'm going to ruin you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're going to die. I'm going to take your soul. Like, oh, Jesus.
They were on an even playing field, and then they were playing up, you know, Seth Rollins' back is not great. And then, of course, Seth wins, but like, I believe that because Seth wanted to make sure that Shinsuke stayed down. Now you have the second chapter in which the whole entire time leading into Fastlane, Shinsuke was in narrative control the whole entire time, playing mind games with Seth. Seth wanted a rematch. Shinsuke said no, and he kept poking and prodding Seth Rollins' impulsiveness to make mistakes and to, you know, feed into the games that Shinsuke was playing. Shinsuke was being more calculated. He was in control for this whole entire second half of the feud. And it makes no narrative sense to me that Seth is the one who comes out looking the strongest after this. I was like, Shinsuke has been calculated this whole entire time. And for Shinsuke to lose this way makes no sense to me because I would have believed it more if Seth outsmarted Shinsuke the same way that Shinsuke has been playing Seth this whole entire time. And it makes no sense because once again, WWE has written themselves in a corner. Shinsuke should have won this one, not because I'm a big fan of Shinsuke, but narratively speaking, Shinsuke was in control for this second half of the feud leading into Fastlane. And from a narrative standpoint, for me, it doesn't make sense to have your villain all of a sudden by the power of friendship and, oh my God, the second wind is happening right now, to lose it in the fashion that he did. I would have believed it more if Seth channeled that anger and got really crazy and just literally buried Shinsuke in debris if he had to keep him down. Like, have Seth go full rage mode and have to be smart about everything. But Seth was just being Seth, and Super Rollins is what he's turning into. And now I'm getting a little worried because I hated when Cena was Super Cena, and I still do when he's just beating people left and right.
No.
And I'm afraid now that's what's happening with Seth. And we've written ourselves in the corner because now Seth is still champion. What do we do with him for Survivor Series? And then the bigger question, which makes me even worry more and makes me more sad, what happens with Shinsuke now?
Yeah.
Well, I think Seth has to work Roman at Survivor Series. I think that's the point. We need to have both of these super guys, these superheroes go out there, and...
Did we get another DQ finish like we did between the first time they fought each other?
Absolutely.
I'm still bitter about that.
Yeah, because that means that Roman can't beat Seth. That's the one guy he can't beat, and that's why it's a story. It's like Drew McIntyre talking about it a couple weeks ago, saying that in his career in WWE, since he's been there, he's never beaten Roman. Never. And I think that's a great story because when he finally beats Roman, it's going to be a big deal. Same thing for Roman. When he finally beats Seth, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be that one thing he's never been able to hurdle. Seth comes back and he from injury from tearing his ACL, and he beats Roman Reigns on his first night back. Now, Roman did get suspended for PEDs, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But getting back to it, yeah, I think this is the only way to go. There's no other way to do it unless, they do a War Games and Seth is the last person to team with them. And then it's like Seth and Cody and Jay and Kevin and Sammy. If it's not, if it's not, what's his face? You know what I mean? If it's not CM Punk. So
way to bury the lead.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
CM Punk's going to guest referee War Games.
Yeah, that would be great. He just comes out at the last minute. That'd be awesome.
Just walks out of there.
Yeah. It's like I'm your referee. Referee with a microphone in his hand and just torch people. Just torch AEW while he's like refereeing this match.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, just absolutely. I could just imagine him going over there, cutting his first promo and just saying, wow, everybody's a lot taller over here. I could just imagine him just saying something like that. Like, it's just so,
if Punk really wanted to go there, it's like, wow, everyone's a lot taller. And also, I don't remember a lot of you having gun charges as well. It's like, oh my God.
Absolutely. Well, we don't know because that story that I said to you in the chat, now it's picking up steam on Twitter. So it's not just like one guy that said it. Now multiple people are saying it.
Oh, man.
We're going to have to. So, we're going to put a pause in this review real quick to, breaking news.
We're going to spill the tea on news that's only 3 hours old. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, we're going to see what happens over it. But Luis, since you were the one to bring this to us, why don't you take the lead with this and tell the listening and viewing audience what we're talking about?
All right. So FTR just dropped the World Tag Team Championships tonight in the opening match, a collision, to a random team of Big Bill and Ricky Starks. And although a lot of us are super happy that Ricky Starks is now a champion, and some of us are happy that Big Bill is a champ because I like Big Cass, it was very odd. It was one of those odd things. And as soon as it happened, right before the show ended, my brother, who subscribes to the Dirty Sheets is what it's called, says, bro, you gotta read this. And Billy Body said FTR has requested their release from AEW. And I was like, whoa, are they really following Punk back to WWE? Is this gonna happen? Like, what is going on with this company right now? Like, why are people asking to leave? They're supposed to be so great. And the thing is, I don't know if you're fans of the Edging Christian podcast, but they love FTR.
So the first thing I pulled up on Twitter when I typed in FTR is a backstage video of Adam Copeland hugging and laughing and damn near crying with FTR after the match.
Yeah.
This must be right after the match and like just hanging out and talking right as it's ended. So full support from Adam Copeland as that's going on. I don't know, man. What a trip that would be. Do you think CM Punk's come back to WWE?
I do. I do. I can't imagine he doesn't. Why wouldn't he?
Right?
He's craved structure. That's what he wants. He wants structure. He didn't realize what this was over there. What he should have done is he should have called Cody Rhodes and be like, why'd you leave? That's what he should have done.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't hate that.
I don't either. And I said this on the SmackDown review too, but I was just like, for people who are complaining, I'm just like, I'm not mad if people are going to be switching to different brands, like different companies. Like, this is good for the development of professional wrestling. We're talking about this because I'm still super disappointed with the main event of Fastlane, but you know what? It's okay.
We're not even talking about.
Yeah.
So the more I think about this main event, the more bitter I get about it, just because of how underwhelmed and disappointed I was in this match.
Nah, this show was like too empanadas. Like it's just
immediately I'm on the same level. I was like, Payback was so much better.
Yeah.
Two empanadas out of 10 or out of 5?
Out of 5.
Out of 5? Oh, that's fair. I mean, again, when you're going to do these street fight matches, the ones that work, the San Juan street fight, the Pittsburgh street fight, you have to make me believe that there's found weapons and there's surprises and something new to discover, or else I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, the stuff that took me out of it, that took me out of it. Going back to the match, the first thing Seth does is flip open the curtain underneath the ring, and it's filled with all the toys you're going to use.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, in a way, it has that sort of, Mankind feel where it's sort of, oh, look at all these things. What am I going to use? But on the same time, it's like, yeah, you're down there with Gatorade and kendo sticks and ladders and chairs. I already know what's down there. I'm not interested anymore. You're not going to surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
So I also want to point out too, I'm like, Seth, your wife just did this almost the same exact theme, not even a week ago, like literally a week ago. And she and her opponent did a better job of making me believe that, oh, this is going to get crazy. This is going to get violent. And this is the developmental brand that people keep claiming NXT to be. I was just like, listen, NXT
Becky ain't developmental though, and neither is Tiffany Stratton. Like Tiffany Stratton is a pro already. Yeah.
But I'm like, Seth, your wife just did this a week ago, and it was so much more better than this. How the fuck did you fuck this up, you guys? Like, how'd you fuck it up?
Go ahead.
Even the Jay Roman one, which was supposed to be a street fight.
We don't talk about that. That was awful as well.
But hang on, even that one, which was bad.
Yeah,
they still set up the spots to where I would discover the bad spot, not don't even just we're going to show you 30 seconds from now a bad spot's coming. Like even that one they led a little better than this one.
Yeah, I got to be honest. There's an underrated thing that people aren't talking about with Seth. This is why I've always felt like Roman was better. I've argued this a lot. Seth, he's missing his Jon Moxley. He's missing his Dean Ambrose. If you look at his best feuds, right? His last really good street fight was with Moxley. Sure. There are certain people that have to have that one guy. And if I think back to the last great Seth Rollins feud, it was Kevin Owens. Like that whole WrestleMania COVID thing, like that was his best feud that he had in a long time. I mean, his matches with Finn I thought were fine. There's something about too much athleticism and too much of the same thing working each other. And they're the same thing. And unfortunately, we've only gotten the same wrestler working each other where it's worked really well one time. And that's because one guy developed into that, and that was when Shawn Michaels and Jericho feuded. Because Jericho was a super junior weight who did a lot of heavyweight moves to cruiserweights. So he had a different style, but a lot of people considered him the next Shawn Michaels because of their size, because of the way they worked. So when they worked each other, Jericho was like, all right, you be that guy, I'll be Super Junior's Jericho, and we'll just tear the house down. And then they had 6 months of amazing matches. But when we're watching Seth Rollins, right now he's feuding and he's working guys that work just like him. Him and Shinsuke Nakamura have a very similar style, except that Shinsuke does kicks. And him and Finn Balor have a very similar style. And I think he needs that like difference. When he worked KO doesn't work that style. I don't know if you guys go back as far as I do with Steen and Kevin Owens, but he was Mr. Wrestling. He did all styles. That was his gimmick, Mr. Wrestling, Kevin Steen. You know, so yeah, like that's what he was. And I don't know. I just see this and I'm like, he's not missing character. He's not missing promo. He's missing that guy. He's missing that guy that he needs to work to just like have everybody like galvanize behind you to be like, yeah, we want him to continue to be our champ.
I absolutely buy that. Yeah, that makes total sense. And the feud's absolutely right. And you can have characters and acting and write it perfectly. And us versus them get in the ring. You need that dynamic.
Yeah.
You need to find, which is why, and I'm sure Andrew, if Andrew was here, he'd agree, which is why sometimes tag team wrestling is kind of the best because you have a chance to have 4 different styles.
Yeah.
Or 2 of this style, 2 of this style, and you get to see it all on display at a much higher rate than other matches and things like what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you have the chance of having either like the opening tag match, or you have the chance of having the Teddy Long tag match that we had in the pre-main event.
Hey, there
so,
it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
I just thought of this. If he's on his way back, I feel like one of Seth's best feuds was Randy Orton. If Randy comes back as a heel and him and Seth go at it right away, I feel like it fixes everything.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like Randy Orton's happy wherever Randy Orton is right now.
I mean, he's training. He's been spotted at the Performance Center, so let's get him in. Let's get him back.
That's interesting.
Randy Orton in NXT confirmed. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
honestly though, no, I was like, Randy can just go back to main roster. I feel like he would decimate the men's roster.
Or you could bring up my boy Braun and just have Braun just plow through Rollins. That'd be great too, because their last match was amazing.
Seriously, Braun, oh my gosh, like Mr. Strowman, I know you've been out on injury.
No, not Strowman.
Oh,
Breaker.
Okay,
not Strowman. God.
Well, I've been saying. Listen, okay.
The disgust on your face.
What the hell? And I dislike this man so much more for breaking up with Raquel. It's just like, you know what? You just like, I can't even like you anymore now. No. I'm a big Braun Breaker fan. I think he's the future.
I love Raquel too, but I was like, girl, when we were like having travel issues because somebody wasn't, I was like, I don't really want to speak on it, but it's like public knowledge, the fact that she wasn't too keen on getting certain things taken care of, like getting shot wise during certain things, so therefore she couldn't travel during that. But I love Raquel regardless outside of that, and it's not at the level of Lacey Evans because we don't want to talk about her anymore.
So out of what are we doing, the mini scale or the empanada scale or a whole new PLE scale?
I'm giving this a solid. I'm gonna combine it. I'm gonna use the empanada scale. Do it out of 10. I give this a solid 2 out of 10.
Damn.
2 out of 10 even.
Damn, I gave it a 2 out of 5. Holy hell!
Yeah, because this is why. So the last 2 matches really killed it for me. Yeah. Only because again, I look at wrestling from a writer's perspective and just from beginning to end between, that tag team match and beginning to end of the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, combat, live acting, when you throw out of that in, you have to kind of be flexible with it. But from a writer's perspective, there is a lot of choices that did not make sense. LA Knight did not need to be, literally he did not, it was kind of a detriment for me to him because he just sat there for like 15 minutes out of the 17-minute match. And then he came in for the save, which, get a cheap pop from the crowd, which is fine if you want to, perform to receive that base level reward. But Cena did not need to be in that match. Solo needs to figure something out. Jimmy needs to figure out what he needs to do. The only person that did his job was Paul Heyman, and that's saying something. By the way, Paul Heyman going full gray. Somebody give this man some hair dye. I was shocked.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about Heyman.
I thought you were. Somebody give this walrus hair dye.
That's hilarious. I think I'm there with you. Out of on the mini scale, it's probably just straight average, maybe 4 or 5 out of the 10. Like nothing special. That first match made me think, oh, we're gonna go for it. Let's go. Yeah. And then sadly, it just kind of went. I thought I liked watching Charlotte, Asuka, and Io Sky. I thought that was fantastic too.
That was my match of the night.
That gave me hope from there. But then you're right. The last 45 minutes just sort of dragged me, and what was sad is it was everything we don't like was kind of on display and in our face. All the stuff that we rag on all the time. It was like, oh, why'd you have to remind me? I forgot all these things.
I also gave this such a low grade too because the product placement gave me PTSD from Survivor Series 2021. Yeah, and if everyone remembers that show, which I give you all the strength if you purged it from your memory, but unfortunately I didn't, because the only memorable thing that I liked on that Survivor Series was Charlotte versus Becky. Everything else was mid. that pizza battle royale from Pizza Hut, by the way, which also sponsored that battle royale. I got PTSD, and it made me irrationally upset seeing Pizza Hut back on my screen.
I know
Also,
the commercials are bad. I know the product placement's bad. I know the themed matches are always bad.
Can we also talk about really quick for differently? Peacock, I give you a subscription fee for no ads. So why the fuck are we playing commercials during pay-per-views? Like, what is this?
$2 more.
Gosh.
But then it's not even the commercial. It's just that we'll return shortly. So you just got to wait 5 minutes. You just don't get to watch the commercial.
Fucking hate it. I really do.
And I do hate that Pizza Hut played such a large role in this, but I'm glad Austin Creed's getting a check. So I'm not going to shit on that too much.
That's right.
I love him.
Well, the other thing we could talk about too is that even though this was a pay-per-view, we got bumpers for Monday Night Raw. So I was just like, I forget this is the thing. How do we feel about, I'm kind of excited in a weird, twisted, mentally disturbed way. Raquel versus Nia Jackson. Like, this actually might be fun to watch. It might be a car crash, but it might be fun to watch.
Have we moved on from Fastlane? Are we now talking about the future?
Yes, because I want to I want to put Fastlane in the rear view.
Right.
We have
Luis was 2 out of 5. That's right. Luis was 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Yeah.
And we have 6 weeks to Survivor Series, so hopefully the build is better for that. But let's talk about some other stuff.
Let's talk about something else. I think Nia Jax is got a lot of the criticism from, when was that, over a year ago, when all hell broke loose.
A year and a half or so. Yeah.
So I understand that, and I remember that time. I think right now absolutely willing to give her a shot. I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff, but she's here and she's in the locker room.
Yeah.
And who knows what that locker room temperature is. I think some fans have gone full on the deep end, and it's sort of like, wow, have you just been waiting for a year to pile on somebody? And that's, the toxic side of the wrestling internet community, whatever. I like a redemption story. I want to see, okay, let's see what you have. Can you do this? Do you have the training? Can you, not stiff shot people, and can you be safer? And even and I had to go back and do my research. Even the first time we went through this Nia Jax storyline of her leaving and being unsafe or whatever, I didn't know all the bits and pieces. So even that, to me, when I was getting into this, was confusing. Like, why is everyone piling on her? Well, why are they saying this? Well, is it really this? Well, is it really that? So I'm kind of torn, but again, I'm willing to see the matches. Like, book them. Okay, fine. Yeah. You're back. They want to wrestle you. The women are willing to wrestle you. Great. Show me something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for her and Raquel because I'm a big Raquel fan. I think she works really well. I don't know. This is going to be a car crash, though. They're just gonna, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, they're just gonna it's gonna be like the man meat. Like, they're just gonna be hitting the shit out of each other.
I'm kind of here for that. Yeah, I really am. Because I feel like that's just. Don't know.
Godzilla, Gojira, Mothra, like, just throwing them all out there.
This might make me look bad in a certain light, but like, if we really wanted to, like, just because of the sheer fun of it, and I wanted to see it happen just because I'm weird like that, Piper versus Nia would be a lot of fun, especially since we know Piper can go like that.
Yeah.
And, by the way,
where has Piper been?
She's tag champ.
Well, we say that, but can we also stop punishing Chelsea Green? Like, I feel like I think she's paid her penance, with the fact that her husband took a replica tag team championship belt to an indie promotion. I was like, can we stop punishing Chelsea Green? Because I feel like she paid her penance enough. I'm like, poor Chelsea.
No, her job is to lose. Her job is to lose and complain about it. That's what her job is. She's a Karen. That's the gimmick.
But I want to see Chelsea actually start winning because I like Chelsea Green.
I agree. I feel like Chelsea Green is single-handedly the worst mistake Tony Khan's ever made.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Single-handedly. The spot Britt Baker's in, that was supposed to be Chelsea's spot. He gave it to Britt. He picked Britt over Chelsea. Just imagine, because Chelsea can work. I don't know how much you guys want. Like, she can go, man.
Listen,
and I got spoiled. Like, wow.
I got spoiled with Chelsea when she and Deonna were a tag team in Impact, like, earlier this year. And just even... Yeah, again, like, Chelsea is amazing. I love her to death, and I want to see her with some wins. JBL is not here, but I'm really excited for Becky versus Tegan Knox finally. Tegan
Hell yeah.
finally gets
Tegan
Higher,
gets a
farther,
chance.
faster, baby. Let's go.
Listen, I've been waiting for years to finally WWE to start using Tegan Knox correctly. She's been sitting in catering or she's been injured. One of the two things have happened. But finally, we're putting Tegan on television in a championship match against Becky. And I know for a fact that Becky has been wanting to fight Tegan for the longest time. And now that we're finally getting it, I'm like, please don't make this 5 minutes because I will turn off my television if this is not given the time that it needs to.
That's fair.
As someone who's read Civil War II probably 30 times, and I'm a big Captain Marvel fan when all the other fragile men in the world are not, I was very excited.
Yes.
I was very excited when Tegan Knox showed her fandom for Captain Marvel. I was like, yeah, let go. And then she got to do the workout video with Brie Larson, and I've been a fan of hers for a hot second now. And I've always said this, and I've said this as you guys think I say a lot of hot take things, but one of the biggest things that I've gotten in trouble for is I said she has a better Shining Wizard than Adam Cole. And a lot of people get angry at that because I'm like, look at when she hits you. It looks like she nails you, and it looks like Adam Cole teabags the back of your head. It doesn't even look like a real Shining Wizard. I'm just like, his just looks so terrible, and she just does it really well. I love it. The shiniest wizard, whatever she calls it. I think she's extremely talented. I'm a massive Becky Lynch fan. I am looking. This better be a 2-segment match.
Please,
I want
this 20 minutes. Please give me 20 minutes.
When is this? When's it coming up?
Monday night.
This Monday.
All right.
I may have to convince you to do the Monday Night Raw review.
I might have to watch it during my rehearsal while actors are doing things. Just have this on the laptop behind me, like I did for Dynamite the other day. Don't tell anyone I did that.
No, but hopefully this time you won't have students look at you funny.
Hearing me on my phone going, did
it's
that say titty slap? Sorry.
Titty slap. Give me those titties, eh?
Oh, man. I swear, if they don't get 2 segments on this, I'm gonna post a 10-minute rant video on TikTok. I'm just gonna snap out. They better get
60 seconds, 3 minutes, 10.
Depending, I'd be like, hey, so do you want to come on this Raw review real quick and just rant?
I don't know, because my wife works Tuesday mornings and my son goes to school. I think I might be too loud to do it. I might snap. He might be full Puerto Rican in that thing. I'm gonna be like, listen, I've been waiting for Tegan to get this spot.
Start cursing out.
Mikey, tell him where to find us.
Yes. So overall, Fastlane is in the rear view. We are now building towards Survivor Series. So hopefully, that's a lot better. Overall, the first half of the show was great. The second half was, for me personally, it was not it. But if you want to hear a more positive pay-per-view review, I guess you could check out the other pay-per-views we got. We recently just dropped the Wrestle Dream and the No Mercy reviews, and those are a little more positive because we actually like stuff. Except if you go to NXT, we may or may not have said some very horrible things about Joe Coffey getting involved in that Heritage Cup match because that ending soured that match for me personally. But you have those pay-per-view reviews as well as all the weekly TV shows here on the Biconics YouTube channel. You can get notifications of when said videos go live and some behind-the-scenes shenanigan photos and videos on all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. And if you thought this was unhinged, trust me, it's actually more unhinged in the actual Biconics Wrestling Podcast, which go check out our latest episode because we try to stick to wrestling and then we spend an hour going over this TKO conspiracy theory merger.
I mean, it's a good conspiracy though.
I mean, it truly is.
We need a wrestling conspiracy show. I feel like we would do some damage with that. I think that could be fun.
Nobody would ever invite us anywhere.
No, we would ruin our reputations, but it would be a lot
before we even get it out there.
They'd just be like, "Are you those conspiracy guys?" Yes. Stone Cold is Goldberg in a suit, and then just ruin our reputation.
If all else fails, Professor will just say, he's Simon Miller's cousin.
Hi, I'm his American cousin.
Oh my goodness. But that is going to be it for this iteration of Ringmasters of Review. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure, even though we talked a lot of shit about Fastlane. This was probably one of the funnest ones I have done just because it's just a casual conversation, and we love professional wrestling through the praises and the critiques. But from all of us here at the Ringmasters of Review, that is going to be it. So until the next review, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and stay biconic, you beautiful peoples. We'll see you next time.